Hey warriors, the biggest mistake you can make with your enemies is arguing with them. Because the moment you argue, you've already lost something valuable: control. When you argue, you give them attention. You give them access to your emotions. And worst of all, you give them power over your reactions. Think about it. An enemy doesn't want truth. They want response. They want to pull you into their emotional battlefield where ego replaces logic and noise replaces strategy. And that's exactly where weak people fight. Niccolò Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He didn't believe power was won by shouting louder or proving yourself right. He believed real victory happens silently, inside the mind, where fear, doubt, and insecurity live. Machiavelli didn't teach morality. He taught reality. He observed rulers, generals, politicians, and rivals. And he noticed something chillingly consistent. Those who argued the most controlled the least. Those who stayed calm, unreadable, and strategic ruled. This video is not about being nice. It's not about motivation. And it's definitely not about positive vibes. This is about psychological dominance. Today, I'm going to show you 9 Machiavellian psychology tricks that allow you to defeat your enemies without raising your voice, without explaining yourself, and without ever giving them the satisfaction of reaction. These strategies will teach you how to stay emotionally untouchable in hostile situations, make your enemies lose confidence without confrontation, win power games without anyone realizing you were playing. These are the same psychological principles used by kings, strategists, and power players throughout history, refined not by theory, but by consequence. And here's the uncomfortable truth most people never hear. Your enemies don't beat you. Your reactions do. The moment you feel the urge to explain yourself, correct them publicly, or win an argument, pause. Because that urge is not strength, it's exposure. Power is quiet, control is silent, and the most dangerous person in the room is the one who doesn't need to prove anything. By the end of this video, you'll understand why silence terrifies weak minds, why patience is more threatening than anger, and why the person who controls emotions controls outcomes. Before we begin, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. Silence is my power. Say it once, mean it, and let's begin. Number 1, silence is psychological dominance. True power begins with restraint. The moment you feel the urge to respond, explain, or defend, you place yourself inside a frame someone else designed. Silence breaks that frame. It removes you from the game they are trying to pull you into and forces the other side to operate without direction. When no response arrives, pressure does not disappear. It transfers. The weight shifts onto the person seeking reaction, and under that weight, most people destabilize. Silence creates uncertainty, and uncertainty is mentally exhausting. When people cannot read intention, they begin to imagine it. They replay conversations that never happened. They analyze tone that was never given. Their mind searches for signals and finds none, so it fills the space with doubt. This internal conflict weakens focus and erodes confidence. Meanwhile, your position remains untouched. You are not exposed. You are not predictable. You are not emotionally accessible. Another advantage of silence is that it protects strategic flexibility. Words lock you into narratives. Once spoken, they can be quoted, challenged, or used to trap you. Silence keeps doors open. You're free to adjust, shift, or strike later without contradiction. People mistake this for indecision, but in reality, it is controlled delay. Controlled delay allows conditions to mature and mistakes to surface without your involvement. Silence also reshapes perception. Those who speak often appear needy for acknowledgement. Those who remain quiet appear self-contained. Self-containment signals authority. It suggests that approval is not required, validation is not sought, and outcomes matter more than appearances. Observers pick up on this instinctively. They begin to treat the quiet individual as a fixed point, someone whose presence carries weight even without commentary. When you do not respond, others reveal more than they intend. They talk to fill the gap. They justify, accuse, explain, and overshare. Each word they add is a window into priorities, insecurities, and objectives. Information flows in one direction, toward you. This asymmetry is power. You learn without being learned. You see without being seen. Silence also denies emotional access. Many conflicts are attempts to provoke, not resolve. Reaction is the reward. Without it, the attempt collapses. Frustration builds. Effort increases. The person seeking control escalates and exposes desperation. Desperation makes errors visible. Errors create leverage. All of this happens while you remain untouched. There is also a social dimension. Verbal engagement places people on equal footing. Silence restores hierarchy. Distance reappears. Distance limits manipulation. When access is restricted, influence weakens. Those below reach upward. Those above do not chase downward. Silence clarifies position without confrontation. Most importantly, silence disciplines the self. It trains you to act from calculation rather than impulse. Impulse is expensive. Calculation is efficient. Over time, this discipline compounds. Fewer words lead to fewer regrets. Fewer reactions lead to fewer vulnerabilities. Others begin to sense this pattern and adjust their behavior around you. Provocations decrease. Respect increases. Control consolidates quietly. This is not avoidance, it is selection. You choose when engagement serves you and when it does not. And in most power struggles, silence serves better than sound. Now, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. Silence is my advantage. Number 2. Control your emotions before controlling the game. Emotional mastery is the foundation of mental victory because emotion is the most visible signal a person leaks under pressure. The instant feelings take over, predictability follows, and predictability is exploitable. Anger accelerates decisions, excitement loosens judgment, fear narrows vision, and pride demands validation. Each of these states creates patterns an adversary can anticipate and steer. When you regulate inner responses, you remove the handles others grab to move you. This is not suppression, it is calibration. You acknowledge sensation without allowing it to dictate behavior. That separation, feeling without acting, creates a buffer where strategy lives. Inside that buffer, you choose timing, direction, and scope with clarity. People who lack this buffer confuse intensity with effectiveness, reacting fast and loudly while surrendering initiative. Those who possess it move slower, cleaner, and with purpose. Emotional control reshapes perception. A steady demeanor reframes situations that would otherwise provoke. What once felt like provocation becomes information. What once felt urgent becomes optional. This reframing starves manipulation because manipulation depends on urgency. Remove urgency, and the script collapses. Emotional steadiness also disrupts attempts to destabilize. When expected reactions do not arrive, the instigator experiences mismatch. Mismatch creates doubt. Doubt fractures confidence. Over time, repeated mismatch conditions others to hesitate before trying again. Hesitation is advantage. Another benefit is credibility. Consistent composure builds a reputation that precedes you. People learn that pressure does not move you, praise does not inflate you, and insult does not tilt you. This reputation changes how negotiations unfold. Offers become more thoughtful. Threats become rarer. Concessions appear earlier. None of this requires dominance displays. It emerges from reliability. Reliability is persuasive because it signals long-term thinking. Long-term thinkers are harder to corner. Control also protects bandwidth. Emotional spikes consume energy and attention, diverting resources from analysis. By staying regulated, you preserve mental clarity to track details others miss. Shifts in tone, inconsistencies, and timing cues. These details reveal leverage points. Emotional restraint thus becomes an intelligence advantage. You are not only harder to move, you are better informed. There is a compounding effect as well. Each time you choose regulation over impulse, you reinforce self-trust. Self-trust reduces the need for external validation. Reduced validation seeking diminishes exposure. With less exposure, fewer openings exist for influence. This inward loop, control leading to confidence, leading to insulation, creates quiet authority. Authority alters outcomes without confrontation. Importantly, emotional mastery is selective engagement. You do not deny emotion, you decide where it belongs. Expression has a place, but not where it can be weaponized against you. By choosing contexts carefully, you prevent others from using your sincerity as leverage. This selectivity frustrates those who rely on provoking displays to gain advantage. They find no purchase. Finally, emotional control governs timing. Immediate responses often feel satisfying, yet produce inferior results. Delayed responses allow context to expand and stakes to clarify. As context expands, options multiply. With more options, you choose better outcomes. The person who waits is not passive, they are positioning. Positioning wins games before moves are visible. Master this, and contests shift. You stop fighting moods and start directing outcomes. Others chase reactions. You shape conditions. When feelings no longer lead you, nothing else can. Number 3, let them reveal themselves. Mental victory accelerates when you stop trying to expose others and instead create conditions where exposure happens naturally. People disclose far more than they realize when they believe they are not being challenged. Pressure invites defenses. Absence of pressure invites disclosure. When no interruption arrives, speech expands. Expansion produces excess. Excess contains error. This sequence is reliable. By stepping back, you turn conversation into a mirror where the other person sees themselves without realizing it. They fill silence with narratives, motives, and justifications, each one adding contour to their intentions. Allowing others to speak freely also dismantles their prepared posture. Most individuals rehearse lines, not conversations. When the expected counter does not appear, rehearsed material runs out. Improvisation begins. Improvisation reveals priorities. What they emphasize shows what they value. What they avoid shows where they feel vulnerable. These signals are subtle yet consistent. You gain a map without asking for one. That map guides decisions later, quietly and precisely. Another advantage lies in ownership of momentum. When you do not interrupt, the other party commits to their own direction. Commitment creates traceability. Statements made publicly or repeatedly become anchors that constrain future movement. They have defined themselves, you have not. This asymmetry is leverage. If circumstances shift, they must reconcile changes with their own words. You remain unbound, free to adapt without contradiction. Letting others reveal themselves also diffuses hostility. Confrontation hardens positions. Openness softens them. When someone feels heard, they lower guard. Lower guard invites honesty. Honesty exposes inconsistencies and ambitions that would remain hidden under challenge. This does not require agreement, it requires presence. Presence without endorsement is powerful because it invites depth without granting approval. Depth produces clarity. Clarity simplifies outcomes. There is also a strategic patience at work. Information gathered without effort costs less and carries fewer strings. When people volunteer details, they believe they control the narrative. This belief reduces caution. They overlook implications and underestimate consequences. Meanwhile, you catalog facts, patterns, and timing. Over time, the picture becomes complete. You see not only what they say, but how they say it, when they escalate, and where they stall. These patterns forecast behavior more accurately than promises ever could. Silence during disclosure also protects your position. Questions can be revealing, but they also signal interest and intent. By minimizing prompts, you minimize exposure. You learn without advertising curiosity. Curiosity can be used against you. Invisibility cannot. Remaining unreadable keeps the exchange one-sided. One-sided exchanges favor the listener. Additionally, self-revelation creates accountability without enforcement. People feel compelled to remain consistent with their expressed identity. Once they define themselves, deviation feels risky. This psychological pressure limits their options while expanding yours. You did not impose constraints. They accepted them voluntarily. Voluntary constraints are stronger because they are internalized. Over time, this approach alters dynamics. Those prone to manipulation become cautious around you, sensing that speaking too much costs them. Those seeking validation overshare, mistaking quiet attention for agreement. Both outcomes benefit you. You either deter games or collect insight. Neither requires confrontation. Letting others reveal themselves is not passive observation. It is deliberate orchestration of space. You control the environment by not filling it. In that space, truth surfaces unforced. When truth surfaces, decisions become easier. And when decisions are easy, execution is clean. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I let truth speak. Number 4. Never correct them publicly. Public correction feels justified in the moment, yet it produces consequences that outlive the mistake it targets. When you expose someone in front of an audience, you do more than fix an error. You fracture identity. Identity, once threatened, seeks repair through retaliation. This reaction is instinctive. Pride, when wounded under observation, transforms into resolve. The corrected individual no longer focuses on accuracy. They focus on restoring status. From that point forward, the relationship shifts from cooperation to quiet opposition. What could have been a minor misunderstanding becomes a long-term liability. Restraint in public preserves leverage. By choosing not to challenge openly, you keep channels intact and prevent defensive escalation. Defensiveness narrows thinking. Narrow thinking produces stubbornness. Stubbornness delays outcomes. None of these serve strategic goals. Discretion, however, maintains fluidity. It allows movement behind the scenes where adjustments can occur without spectacle. Spectacle invites sides. Sides entrench positions. Quiet alignment achieves results without resistance. There is also the matter of perception. Audiences rarely reward the corrector. They remember the discomfort, not the correction. Even when the exposed mistake is clear, the act of exposure casts the corrector as aggressive. Aggression erodes trust. Trust is currency. Spending it to win a moment is poor exchange. By withholding public challenge, you appear composed and considerate. Composure elevates status. Consideration builds goodwill. Goodwill increases influence. Private correction, when necessary, preserves dignity. Dignity preserves cooperation. People are more willing to adjust when their image remains intact. They listen instead of resist. They adapt instead of defend. This does not mean allowing errors to persist. It means choosing a channel that secures compliance rather than provokes rebellion. Results matter more than recognition. Another benefit of avoiding public correction is information control. When you reveal someone's mistake openly, you reveal your standards, priorities, and thresholds. You show where lines are drawn. This transparency helps adversaries calibrate behavior around you. Silence keeps thresholds ambiguous. Ambiguity discourages testing. When boundaries are unclear, cautious behavior increases. Caution reduces friction. Public correction also accelerates rivalry. It frames interaction as contest rather than collaboration. Contest invites spectators, and spectators amplify stakes. Amplified stakes intensify emotions. Intensified emotions distort judgment. Distorted judgment leads to poor decisions. Each step compounds the next. Avoiding the first step prevents the cascade. Strategically, patience here compounds advantage. Those who feel spared embarrassment often underestimate the restraint shown to them. Underestimation leads to complacency. Complacency exposes gaps. Gaps create opportunity. Meanwhile, you retain the option to address issues later, with context and timing on your side. Timing determines impact. A well-timed adjustment lands cleanly. A rushed correction splashes. There is also self-discipline involved. Correcting publicly often satisfies ego more than purpose. It signals superiority rather than secures outcome. Separating ego from objective is essential. When you resist the urge to display correctness, you prioritize end results over applause. This orientation shifts how others perceive you. You become someone who values progress, not point scoring. That reputation attracts allies and disarms challengers. In the long run, avoiding public correction cultivates an environment where people bring issues to you voluntarily. They trust your discretion. They seek your input privately. This access is invaluable. It gives you influence upstream before problems harden into conflicts. Influence upstream saves resources downstream. Strategic restraint here is not softness, it is precision. By choosing privacy over spectacle, you win cooperation without creating enemies. Correct course without igniting resistance, and preserve authority without noise. Number 5. Appear weak when you are strong. Revealing full capability too early is a strategic error, because visibility invites countermeasures. When others believe they have accurately measured you, they adjust, align, and resist. By presenting less than your true capacity, you distort their calculations and encourage complacency. Complacency relaxes vigilance. Relaxed vigilance creates openings. This approach is not deception for spectacle. It is controlled understatement designed to shape expectations. Expectations govern behavior. When expectations are low, scrutiny fades. With scrutiny reduced, movement becomes easier. Understatement also shifts initiative. Those who assume advantage act boldly and prematurely. Premature action exposes roots, alliances, and priorities. Each move they make clarifies the board. Meanwhile, you conserve resources, observe patterns, and refine timing. Strength withheld is not lost, it is stored. Stored capacity multiplies impact because it arrives unexpectedly. Surprise compresses response windows. Compressed windows increase error rates. Error rates determine outcomes. Appearing modest also alters social dynamics. Overt dominance provokes coalitions. Perceived harmlessness disperses them. When threat perception declines, coordination weakens. Individuals act independently rather than collectively. Independent action is easier to manage than unified opposition. By staying beneath the radar, you avoid becoming a focal point. Focal points attract pressure. Diffuse attention grants freedom. There is an internal advantage as well. Concealment disciplines ego. Ego seeks recognition. Discipline seeks effectiveness. When recognition is delayed, patience strengthens. Patience sharpens judgment. Sharp judgment improves selection. What to pursue, what to ignore, when to move. This restraint prevents overextension. Overextension is costly because it invites counterplay. Controlled presence keeps the field flexible. Understatement also preserves narrative control. When success arrives without prior boasting, observers attribute it to inevitability rather than force. Inevitability discourages challenge. Force invites it. People resist what feels imposed. They accept what feels natural. By letting outcomes speak after the fact, you avoid debates about legitimacy. Legitimacy questioned drains energy. Legitimacy assumed consolidates authority. Another effect is misdirection. When others underestimate you, they prepare for the wrong scenario. Preparation shapes posture. Wrong posture limits adaptability. Adaptability wins contests. While they prepare to handle a lesser version, you deploy a different angle entirely. This mismatch between preparation and reality amplifies impact without escalation. The shift feels sudden, yet it was earned through restraint. Appearing weaker also attracts disclosure. Those who believe they dominate speak freely. They instruct, advise, and reveal methods. Thinking instruction asserts superiority. Instruction reveals process. Process reveals leverage points. You learn how they think while they believe they are teaching. This asymmetry compounds over time, converting their confidence into your insight. Importantly, this tactic is temporary and selective. It is not permanent diminishment. It is staged understatement. You choose moments to downplay and moments to act. When action arrives, it is decisive and clean. Clean action ends contests quickly. Prolonged contests invite chaos. Chaos equalizes. Precision separates. There is also risk management. By not advertising capacity, you reduce tests. Fewer tests mean fewer drains on attention. Attention conserved is attention available when stakes rise. When stakes rise, clarity matters. Clarity thrives in calm. Ultimately, strength that announces itself becomes predictable. Predictability is manageable. Strength that remains unseen shapes behavior without confrontation. It guides choices before resistance forms. That is the goal. Influence before collision, resolution before struggle, victory before debate. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I move unseen. Number 6. Win without letting them know they lost. The most effective victories leave no visible scar because scars invite retaliation. When defeat is obvious, it becomes personal. Personal loss hardens memory and fuels obsession. Obsession keeps conflict alive. By contrast, an unrecognized loss dissolves quietly. The other side adjusts behavior without attributing change to you. Adjustment without attribution prevents backlash. This approach prioritizes outcome over acknowledgement, which is essential when long-term advantage matters more than short-term satisfaction. Subtle success relies on shifting conditions rather than announcing triumph. When conditions change, People adapt to what appears normal. Normalization erases the sense of being beaten. They reinterpret events as circumstance, timing, or coincidence. This reinterpretation preserves dignity. Preserved dignity maintains peace. Peace extends your freedom to operate. Freedom compounds results. Another dimension involves memory. People remember humiliation vividly, but they forget inconvenience. If the loss feels like inconvenience, it fades. If it feels like humiliation, it lingers. Designing outcomes that register as inconvenience requires restraint and foresight. You resist the urge to display superiority. You allow the environment to do the work. When access narrows, opportunities shift, or incentives realign. Behavior changes without confrontation. Winning quietly also protects alliances. Public victories force observers to choose sides. Side-taking creates polarization. Polarization attracts attention. Attention draws interference. Quiet resolution avoids this cascade. Observers continue their routines, unaware that balance has shifted. You retain relationships across lines because no one feels publicly defeated. This neutrality is valuable. It allows influence to flow where it would otherwise be blocked. There is a psychological element as well. When people cannot identify the source of their setback, they search internally. Internal search produces self-doubt rather than blame. Self-doubt weakens resolve. Resolve weakened reduces future aggression. Aggression reduced lowers risk. This inward turn is safer than outward accusation. It neutralizes threats without creating enemies. Strategically, invisible victory preserves optionality. If conditions change, you can reverse, adjust, or advance without being tied to a public win. Public wins demand consistency. Consistency limits flexibility. Quiet wins keep paths open. You are free to recalibrate as circumstances evolve. Flexibility is advantage in complex environments. Another benefit is reputation management. Those who boast success attract scrutiny. Scrutiny invites challenge. Challenge consumes resources. By letting outcomes speak softly, you avoid becoming a target. You remain underestimated or misunderstood, which is safer than being celebrated. Celebration creates expectations. Expectations pressure performance. Pressure distorts judgment. Staying understated protects clarity. Winning without acknowledgement also trains discipline. It requires resisting ego's demand for credit. Credit is intoxicating. Intoxication leads to mistakes. Discipline keeps focus on next moves rather than past achievements. Forward focus sustains momentum. Momentum achieved quietly is harder to stop. There is also deterrence through ambiguity. When outcomes favor you repeatedly without obvious cause, others grow cautious. Caution alters behavior preemptively. They hesitate before acting against you, unsure of consequences. This hesitation functions as deterrence without threat. Deterrence without threat is stable because it does not provoke testing. Ultimately, the goal is resolution, not recognition. Recognition satisfies ego. Resolution secures position. When opponents do not feel defeated, they do not seek revenge. When they do not seek revenge, cycles end. Ending cycles frees energy for growth. Growth compounds faster than conflict. This approach reframes success. Victory is not applause or acknowledgement. It is the quiet realignment of reality in your favor. When the shift is complete and no one feels struck, the result endures. Number 7. Use time as a weapon. Time is the most underestimated force in any power struggle because it works quietly while emotions burn loudly. Immediate reactions feel decisive, but they often lock you into outcomes shaped by urgency rather than advantage. By slowing your response, you reverse pressure. Urgency migrates to the other side. Waiting reframes the situation because impatience reveals dependency. Whoever needs resolution first is already negotiating from weakness. When you demonstrate comfort with delay, you signal confidence in eventual outcome. Confidence unsettles opponents more than resistance ever could. Delay also expands context. Moments compress perspective. Time widens it. As hours stretch into days, narratives change, alliances cool, and priorities shift. What looked critical begins to look negotiable. What felt personal becomes procedural. This widening of context exposes which elements matter and which were fueled by heat. With clarity restored, you choose moves that endure rather than moves that merely feel satisfying. Endurance beats intensity every time. Time introduces consequences without confrontation. Many actions contain seeds that only sprout later. By stepping back, you allow those seeds to grow. Patterns emerge, inconsistencies surface, commitments collide. People who push prematurely often contradict themselves when time passes. Those contradictions weaken credibility. Credibility lost reduces influence. Influence reduced alters outcomes without your intervention. Time does the work while you remain untouched. Patience also preserves energy. Conflict drains focus, waiting conserves it. Conserved focus sharpens analysis. Sharp analysis identifies leverage that haste would miss. Leverage discovered later is often cleaner and safer than leverage seized early. Early leverage invites resistance. Later leverage feels inevitable. Inevitability ends disputes quietly. Another advantage of time is memory decay. Strong emotions fade, outrage dissipates, grievances soften. By delaying engagement, you allow emotional intensity to drop below action threshold. When intensity falls, rational assessment returns. Rational assessment favors structured solutions over impulsive retaliation. Structured solutions last longer. Time also disrupts manipulation cycles. Many tactics rely on speed, forcing decisions before reflection. By refusing speed, you break the mechanism. Without momentum, manipulative strategies stall. The person attempting control grows frustrated, then careless. Carelessness exposes motives and limits. Limits identified inform your strategy. This shift, from being pressured to observing pressure, changes the balance. Waiting reshapes perception. Those who rush appear anxious. Those who wait appear secure. Security attracts alignment. Others begin to synchronize with your pace rather than push theirs. Pace control is influence. Influence exercised through tempo is subtle and effective. You are not blocking, you are setting rhythm. There is also a moral illusion at play. Quick responses feel virtuous, patience feels evasive. This illusion traps many into premature engagement. By ignoring it, you gain advantage. You act when conditions favor you, not when appearances demand action. Appearances fade, outcomes remain. Over time, consistent patience becomes reputation. People learn that pressure does not move you. They adjust expectations. They plan differently. This adaptation reduces attempts to rush you in the future. Fewer attempts mean fewer conflicts. Fewer conflicts mean greater stability. Stability compounds power. Using time as a weapon is not inactivity. It is positioning. You choose distance, observe drift, and act when alignment is optimal. When action finally arrives, it feels decisive because it is informed by patience. The outcome lands cleanly with minimal resistance, because resistance already exhausted itself. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I win with patience. Number 8. Never explain yourself too much. Excessive explanation weakens position because it shifts authority away from decision and toward justification. The moment you begin over-clarifying, you invite scrutiny that would not exist otherwise. Scrutiny multiplies questions. Questions dilute direction. Direction diluted becomes negotiable. People sense this shift immediately. When explanations grow long, listeners stop hearing certainty and start hearing defense. Defense suggests vulnerability. Vulnerability invites pressure. What began as a simple stance turns into an opening others feel entitled to push against. Power communicates through brevity. Brevity implies resolution already reached. Resolution discourages debate. Debate thrives on gaps, and over-explaining creates many. Each added detail becomes a thread others can pull. Pull enough threads, and the structure unravels. By contrast, concise statements leave little to challenge. They offer no handles. Without handles, manipulation slips. Another consequence of explaining too much is loss of mystery. Mystery is influence because it forces others to calculate without complete data. When everything is laid out, calculations become easier. Easy calculations reduce caution. Reduced caution increases challenge. Maintaining ambiguity keeps opponents guessing. Guessing consumes mental energy. While they guess, you move. Over-explanation also transfers burden. Instead of your decision standing on its own, you assume responsibility for making others comfortable with it. Comfort-seeking erodes authority. Authority rests on acceptance, not consensus. When you chase understanding, you appear dependent on approval. Approval-seeking alters behavior. It softens edges and delays action. Delay benefits those who want to stall outcomes. There is a psychological dynamic at work as well. People respect decisions more than reasons. Reasons can be debated. Decisions must be dealt with. When you anchor on reasons, you invite counter-reasons. When you anchor on outcomes, you shift focus to adaptation. Adaptation ends arguments. Arguments extend them. Over-explaining also creates inconsistency risk. The more you say, the more likely you are to contradict yourself later. Contradiction undermines credibility. Credibility, once questioned, requires repair. Repair costs time and attention. By limiting explanation, you limit exposure. Limited exposure preserves consistency across changing contexts. Another issue is narrative capture. When you explain at length, others begin to reframe your words within their own agenda. They quote selectively, reinterpret intent, and reshape meaning. Short statements resist capture because there is little to twist. What cannot be twisted cannot be weaponized. Restraint in explanation also protects emotional energy. Justifying drains resolve. It keeps you mentally tethered to a decision already made. This tether prevents forward movement. By releasing the need to justify, you free attention for execution. Execution produces results. Results silence criticism more effectively than any explanation ever could. Importantly, not explaining does not mean being unclear. It means being decisive. Decisiveness signals preparation. Preparation signals competence. Competence discourages interference. Interference decreases when people believe outcomes are inevitable. Inevitability is projected through calm, not commentary. There is also a social calibration benefit. When you speak less, others speak more. Their questions reveal priorities. Their objections reveal fears. Their persistence reveals stakes. You learn without revealing intent. This learning advantage compounds quietly. Ultimately, explanations should be tools, not reflexes. Use them when they serve you, not when you feel compelled. Compulsion signals loss of center. Centered individuals choose silence or clarity as needed. They do not drown decisions in words. By resisting over-explanation, you maintain authority, preserve ambiguity, reduce attack surfaces, and accelerate momentum. Decisions land heavier when they are not padded, and the heavier they land, the less anyone tries to move them. Number 9. Make them dependent on your stability. Stability exerts influence because it becomes a reference point when uncertainty rises. In volatile environments, people gravitate toward what remains steady. When you maintain composure, consistency, and reliability, others begin to orient their behavior around you without conscious intent. This orientation shifts power quietly. Influence grows not from force, but from contrast. Your steadiness stands out against fluctuation, making you essential to balance. Dependence forms when your presence reduces friction. When decisions feel clearer, processes smoother, or outcomes calmer around you, people seek that effect repeatedly. Repetition builds reliance. Reliance changes dynamics. Those who rely hesitate to disrupt what they need. Disruption risks losing access. This hesitation grants leverage without demand. You do not ask for authority, it is offered. Stability also shapes expectations. When others know you will not overreact, they approach differently. Conversations become more measured. Requests become more precise. Conflicts soften before reaching you. This pre-adjustment is power in motion. It saves energy and reduces exposure. Over time, you become the environment others adapt to rather than an actor reacting within it. Another mechanism is trust accumulation. Trust grows from predictability of behavior, not predictability of outcome. When people understand how you will respond under pressure, calmly, consistently, without escalation, they feel safer engaging. Safety increases openness. Openness increases information flow. Information strengthens position. This flow is voluntary and therefore reliable. Stability also limits manipulation. Manipulation relies on emotional spikes, urgency, and chaos. A stable presence absorbs shock. Absorption diffuses force. When attempts to destabilize fail repeatedly, manipulators redirect effort elsewhere. Effort diverted reduces threat. Reduced threat expands freedom of action. There is a structural advantage as well. Systems organize around stable nodes. When volatility exists, systems seek anchors. By becoming an anchor, you influence direction indirectly. Decisions route through you. Timing adjusts to you. Norms align with your rhythm. This alignment increases your reach without visibility. Invisible reach is durable because it avoids challenge. Dependence does not require dependence to be named. In fact, named dependence provokes resistance. Unnamed dependence feels natural. It grows through consistent behavior, not declarations. By never advertising your stabilizing role, you prevent others from resenting it. Resentment disrupts reliance. Quiet consistency preserves it. Stability also enhances credibility during change. When shifts become necessary, people accept guidance more readily from a source that has proven steady. Past reliability legitimizes present direction. Direction accepted moves faster. Speed achieved without pressure minimizes friction. Friction avoided preserves relationships. Importantly, stability must be maintained without rigidity. Rigidity breaks under stress. Stability adapts while remaining centered. Adaptation without volatility is rare. Rarity increases value. Value increases influence. Influence alters outcomes before negotiation begins. There is also a self-reinforcing cycle. As others rely on your steadiness, you become more measured. Measurement improves judgment. Improved judgment reinforces stability. This loop strengthens position over time. Power accumulates quietly, without spectacle. By the end, authority no longer needs assertion. It exists in the way people wait for your response, seek your presence, and adjust their tone. You become the calm center others orbit. Orbit creates hierarchy without declaration. Hierarchy maintained without conflict endures. This is the final stage of mental victory. When others depend on your stability, they surrender initiative willingly. You do not dominate them, you anchor them, and anchors decide where movement ends. What you've learned here isn't about winning arguments. It's about ending the need for them. Most people spend their lives trying to prove something, to be right, to be heard, to be validated. And in doing so, they hand over control piece by piece. Power doesn't disappear all at once. It leaks through reactions, explanations, impatience, and emotional exposure, quietly, consistently. The strategies you just watched work because they don't rely on force. They rely on discipline. They don't seek attention. They shape behavior. When you stop arguing, stop reacting, stop over-explaining, and stop rushing, something changes. Pressure shifts. Others reveal themselves. Outcomes align without confrontation. This is mental victory. Not the kind that feels loud or dramatic, but the kind that lasts. The kind where conflicts dissolve before they form, where opponents lose momentum without realizing why, where you move forward while others stay stuck, replaying moments that no longer matter. Remember this: noise is emotional, silence is strategic. You don't need to convince people when your actions speak clearly. You don't need to correct everyone when time exposes truth. You don't need to dominate when stability makes others adjust on their own. Mastery isn't about control over others. It's about control over yourself. And once you have that, the game changes. Because the person who cannot be provoked cannot be defeated. If this video shifted how you see power, psychology, and conflict, even slightly, take a second to support the channel. Like the video so more people who need this mindset can find it. Share it with someone who argues too much when silence would serve them better. And subscribe if you want more strategy, psychology, and timeless principles that actually work in the real world. We don't chase attention here. We build leverage. Stay calm, stay unreadable, and let results speak for you.